Well, hi everybody. Jay Whitner here with Kickstarter Coaching and our internet TV show, Crowdfunding Coverage. We're going to do our traditional recap of what happened during the month. So today is going to be all about June of 2015. We had three major campaigns in the crowdfunding universe of at least $550,000. These 13 big campaigns brought in over 20 million bucks. And the largest of those campaigns was a video game called Bloodstained that we'll talk about, raised over $5 million. So we'll talk about our 8 big campaigns that we'll talk about during the month. But we're going to start off with the news that happened in crowdfunding in June. We'll start with my home state of Florida. As you may have heard in our last show, that the legislature in Florida has voted to move forward with crowdfunding. This is moving its way through the political system, and I believe that the startup date of that is October 1, although that could certainly be shifted a little bit in time depending on various factors. But very soon, equity crowdfunding is coming to Florida. An exciting piece from Forbes talks about crowdfunding versus venture capital. And they've done some trendline analysis at Forbes magazine and with all the statistics. And in next year, crowdfunding is going to surpass venture capital. Very, very exciting and a bit of interesting development for the people on Wall Street. So we'll have to see if this forecast comes to pass, but all the indications are that crowdfunding is going to beat venture capital very, very soon. Another state, Colorado, has given a green light for equity crowdfunding, and we're just going to pass on this fairly quickly because we have several of these this particular month. Etsy, this is a website that sells, helps creators, artists, and others sell their creations, and they're going to be doing a crowdfunding platform somewhat similar to Kickstarter. Kickstarter has certainly broadened over the years, but Kickstarter got their start in a very creativity-focused space that artists and creative things were the core of Kickstarter in the early days, and it's really expanded to technology and other things. So Etsy is sort of following in Kickstarter's footsteps, and we'll see how their crowdfunding task develops. Another state, Minnesota, has joined the ranks of various other states with investment crowdfunding, as we discussed earlier on some other states. In June, the crowdfunding type called SEC Regulation A+. This is not crowdfunding for Main Street, which we usually talk about. This is sort of an interim step, whereas you can do crowdfunding using the internet on a national basis, but still under this scenario, you're restricted to accredited investors. Crowdfunding for Main Street, which we talked about in the past, would allow everyone to invest in the future of our nation, and that is still under development. But Regulation A+ is in place right now. Some news from Indiegogo. They've raised, since their inception, over $500 million. They say significantly over $500 million, which is hard to read those tea leaves, but at least over $500 million. They've also made some other changes at Indiegogo that haven't gotten as much press as this did, that they've changed their fee structure to effectively match Kickstarter's. In the past, Indiegogo had one fee structure for campaigns where you keep whatever you get, and a different fee structure if you were going to sort of limit your campaign, that you would only get the money if you hit a certain level. They've simplified everything. Now they're charging 5% just like Kickstarter does. So that might make the decision matrix a little bit simpler for some people to figure out. And Arizona, another state with crowdfunding regulations for equity crowdfunding. We seem to have a little bit of a stampede going on, so we won't spend much time on that either. On to the big campaigns of the month. Typically on our show, we talk about 8 big campaigns of the month, and we're going to do that right now. The size range of campaigns we'll discuss were from about $500,000 to $5 million. The length of the videos, which we feel is very significant in the success or failure of campaigns, range from 1 minute 17 seconds to 4.5 minutes in length. Also in the length zone, the length of the campaign, these campaigns range from 28 to 45 days. We continue to think that 30 days is a reasonable amount of time to run a campaign in most cases. The reward levels, campaigns, these big 8 campaigns range from a low of 5 to a high of 43, which seems problematic to me. And updates. We had quite a range of updates, from only 9 updates of a campaign up to 43. All these things are determinants of engagement and success or failure of your campaigns. So, on to the campaigns themselves. We're going to start with the Epic card game. This is a fairly simple, fairly affordable card game that ran a quite successful campaign, bringing in over $500,000. The campaign had 10 stretch goals that they reached, which is a time-honored strategy with crowdfunding. The video, the main video of the campaign, it ends with their website address. I think that's a good strategy. Why not end with that, particularly if you're promoting your video through Vimeo, YouTube, or putting on a website where they're not on the Kickstarter platform when they look at your video. This gives them more hooks to get engagement in terms of coming to visit your website. You could also do the same thing with your Kickstarter URL if you wanted. They also have a companion app that was part of their campaign. So you can share your scores with other people and sort of get beyond the people that are playing this tabletop game at your home. The next campaign is Control-Alt-Delete, the box set. This is a comic book series. It's been going on for over a decade. They put the first 10 years of their series into some books for publication through Kickstarter. Some of the aspects of their campaign, they had a nice delivery timeline. It really shows what's going to happen when as they roll out the books that they're creating. They had different add-ons, extra products that you can buy in addition to the reward that you're selecting. And in an interesting strategy, some of the add-on rewards were only available if you chose certain rewards. So in effect, you had to buy a bigger reward to enable you to buy some of the add-ons. So it was an interesting strategy, I thought. Next, we have a drone, the SciFi drone. This drone had some unique attributes, and the drone flies level all the time. It has 6 rotors, and this has various engineering advantages. So it's easier to fly, and flies flat, and makes photography easier, and so forth. So it had a lot of advantages inherent to the product itself. But in terms of the campaign, they had multiple early bird levels. So the earliest backers get a big discount, and the next earliest backers get somewhat of a discount, and so forth. They had a nice feature section that explained the different features of their drone. This is a good strategy if you have a more complicated product. A drone has a lot of bells and whistles going on, so you might want to really lay that out. Also, they had something I don't think I've really seen before. They had what people are saying section. So people that had tweeted in and so forth, just regular folks, not media people, were saying what they thought about the campaign. They were sharing some of that with the audience regarding the campaign, the product, and so forth. Not sure I'd seen that before. I thought it was a good strategy. Next, we have the Hub Plus. Apple has a reputation for making these thin, beautiful products, but part of the trade-off has been a loss of ports to plug all your stuff into the computer itself. So these people invented this gadget that you see in the image that you take advantage of the one port in your MacBook, and you can hook a lot of other things into it. So a good idea. Some of the unique aspects of their campaign were they have a warranty with their product, but they do an extended warranty if you're one of their Kickstarter backers. So a little perk for the backers. At the end of their video, it had like an arrow pointing to the Back Now button on the Kickstarter page. I think that's not a bad strategy either, just sort of to motivate people to go ahead and take the next step. And in a very unusual strategy, I thought, they offered their product in a gold-plated version. So their regular product, they just plated it in 24 karat gold, and they priced this at $4,000, as I recall. And they sold a bunch of them. They sold like 8 or 9 or 10 of those things. I have to look up the exact number, but still, if they sold 8 of them for $4,000 a piece, that's an extra $30,000 for their campaign. Same product, just they gold plated the product with 24 karat gold. So if that is, if your product is amenable to something like that, something worth considering. Next we have the Mito. This is an interesting green product. The theme here is people use hot water for lots of cooking and consumption, teas and coffees and everything. This product allows you to heat up exactly the amount of water that you need. So you put your cup of water on this thing, you put this little rod into the water, heats exactly the amount of water necessary, thus saving energy. Aspects of their campaign, they had supplemental video in their campaign, extra video to explain about the product and what the product does and so forth, which a lot of people forget that you can do that you're not limited to just the single main campaign video that you have at the top of your Kickstarter page. You can put in 1, 2, 3, or 4 more videos, I don't think there's any limit, to convey additional information about your product. They also mentioned different awards that their product had won in their campaign page and in their video, and they had a section about what's special about their product. Next we have a Kickstarter out of Israel. This is called The Free. This is hard to explain a little bit, but it is a sort of a stylus that you can write on anything. You can write on a piece of paper, you can write on your desk, you can write on the wall, and whatever letters or whatever you're drawing is reproduced on your iPhone, your iPad, your laptop, and so forth. And I use the Apple terms, but I think it's compatible with various different hardware. So you don't have to type in keys, for example, on your smartphone to put all your information in. You can just write it down on something. Had some other cool features. Check out the campaign to learn more about it. Some of the aspects here were where they had the GIF, the little mini video that allows you to show things without launching a whole video thing on the page. They had multiple early bird levels, 3 different prices, depending on when you came in to their campaign. And an interesting reward at the $10,000 level, that they will meet you, the founders of this company, and have a business lunch with you to discuss cooperation with them anywhere in the world that you want for $10,000. So I thought that was an interesting approach. Perhaps the coolest campaign this month is the light sail campaign. If you're not familiar with what a light sail is, this is a space thing that you can get propulsion by having a big sail in space, just like you can get propulsion for a sailboat here on Earth with the wind. So this is a non-profit organization, a planetary society. I'm one of the members of the Planetary Society. And the idea here is to do a flight in 2016 to demonstrate solar sailing technologies on a very small scale. So the video that they used ends with a web address that's all about their campaign for more information. This project, the Planetary Society, had raised most of the money before the Kickstarter launched. They were looking sort of for the last $1 million, to put it all in round terms. The total cost was like $5 million. They'd identified pathways to get the $4 million. They needed $1 more million to make this happen. They had a great successful campaign. They did raise over $1 million. They also flagged some partner organizations that worked with them on this whole project. And in a very unique thing, they had an embedded reporter for their Kickstarter project. This is most commonly heard of in the military, where military forces are somewhere and there's an embedded reporter to report on, how things are going at the front and what's going on with the battle and how the soldiers are doing. They had an embedded reporter as part of their Kickstarter campaign. I thought that was very clever. So congratulations to Bill Nye and the Planetary Society. The biggest campaign of the month was Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. This is a video game that was developed, and some of the unique aspects of this campaign, because certainly everybody watching this is wondering, how can I do a $5 million campaign? Well, perhaps the key element of this is the creator had a great reputation for making great video games in the past. So that was really the pivot that makes all this possible. But some of the details that they did on their campaign is they made arrangements that you could view their campaign in multiple languages. The main guy behind this thing is a Japanese man, so he's speaking in Japanese. But, I was certainly reading the campaign in English, but you could read the campaign in different languages. The campaign, when they launched the campaign and when they ended it, they had live streaming events, which is a way to gather audience, make more buzz about what's going on. And in a unique thing, sometimes you want to get video from people as part of your campaign, and it's difficult, either technically, or they don't like being on video or something. So in this campaign, they had like a person's image, maybe a sentence or two about them, and they had an audio clip from the person talking about the project. So whether they don't want to be on video or it's just hard to get a video taken of them, that's another way to do that, to use audio clips instead of video clips. That's it for our show covering June of 2015. Hope you'll be back with us, and we'll talk about what happens in July. Take care, and have a great day.